welcome to the Last Standee, a board gaming podcast brought to you from two exciting countries across Europe. I'm Alessio, your host today, and I'm joined here by Cara.
Hello.
And I think that's all. This is
I don't see anyone else, at least.
Okay, maybe we'll be surprised, I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about a lot of duel and card games and a lot of clashes today. But before that, we will start with the usual Standee Catch-up. So how are you doing, Cara?
I didn't pass that. Obviously, it will start with me today. So, I'm doing okay. I am currently on school break because it's fall, and that's when Germans do break things.
Why? Aren't they great?
And school break is always nice. I spent last week with my partner, and
who is not a big board gamer.
We played a little bit. I will be talking about later, and we also played Blood on the Clock Tower, which we will definitely talk about sometime. But Fen made it clear that they want to be part of a conversation about Blood on the Clock Tower, so I won't say any more about it, except it was a lot of fun. And my plastic collection of Warhammer stuff is growing.
Which is bloating more than growing.
Doing good. How about you, Alessio?
Well, thanks for asking. So I have quite a lot of my hands actually these days because September has been the big campaign games month or something like that. I received Kingdoms Forlorn and I managed to end the campaign of Eon Trespass Odyssey. I actually wanted to end it earlier because actually I was always wanting to find a time to play, but the increasing complexity of the last cycle made me play basically alone all the campaign except a friend who came in and out for a couple of battles, and that was even worse because putting someone up to speed with the pace of the final cycle without spoiling anything, it has been very complex, and we bordered campaign end basically every time, but thankfully the choices of early cycles got us saved more than once. So yeah, exciting, cool, everything. I think we will talk about it eventually. But this is for a spoiler-full episode. And Kingdoms Forlorn probably we will talk about with Fen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another game we will be talking about in a few days.
Basically, all the games I'm playing, I'm not allowed to talk about until
you're on the A. Yeah. Anyway, there are cool games I can talk about because I was on a weekend with my friends from college, let's say, and we played Bombusters, which is the game of the year this year, 2025 game of the year Spiel des Jahres actually, and actually very well deserved. We basically took it like, okay, what is this kind of game which is a bit of the crew, a bit of the mind, we will play a few games and we'll see how it goes. We got stuck with it the entire weekend, like we played all the 66 scenarios in 2 days. Basically, it's so absorbing and addictive. It's a very cool game, so full recommendation, definitely. We could talk about it eventually, but I have a big backlog of games, so I probably will start from those. And wow, since we are two, if we stop the catch-up, we will start immediately with my game.
Yes, do it.
Yeah,
it looks interesting.
No, yeah, it is interesting, but in this case, I need to give a couple of mentions of other games I've been playing, which are General Orders, Sengoku Jidai, which is the the second game in the series of General Orders. General Orders, the first one was a World War II game. They are strategic games from Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson. The guys behind Undaunted series and War Chest, which are excellent games with a lot of twists. And General Orders, the first game, was a cool game, which was a bit falling on the boring side. Sengoku Jidai, which appears during the Sengoku era unification of Japan, is just cool. It takes everything that's cool and cranks it up to 11. From the first game, it's excellent. I think it's the most condensed tactical experience I had in a few months. And that's to say, because the other game I want to mention is Etherstone, a game based on, I think, a series of novels by Gonzalo Gillebisi, I think. But it's basically Italian version of Res Arcana. It's a cool competitive game with tarot sides cards. It's very elegant and fun, and it has a bit of it all. It's a cool game with a couple of bit of defects. So it's something that it's worth mentioning, because probably competitive people will want to explore that because it's addictive, but in a way you must know what you buy. So probably it's something that it needs a bit of going deep. And this is it, I guess. This is my very, very short recap of the last few weeks. And I think we can begin. So
Yeah.
It's me. Okay. Get ready, Cara and everyone, because I will bring you in the world of Eternal Dex first. So, what is Eternal Dex? Eternal Dex is a game I received on February as a result of a Kickstarter from Hiroken, the author behind a lot of drafting games. That it's a Japanese author, and he makes a lot of cool deck building, deck drafting games. And this Eternal Dex was actually a kind of unique Kickstarter, which was an experience of pledging and getting a couple updates about production, and that having the game delivered on time. So it has been kind of a unique experience, and the game is a very, very cool game. It has been for a while a sort of a grail game, because on February it was a bit of the talk of the month, and it went sold out immediately, basically after fulfilling Kickstarter. And it is going under reprint right these days. So depending on the part of the world you're in, you're probably be able to get your hands on a reprint or a language edition. I think it will debut at Essen in the French version, and there will be English, Japanese reprints. So that's it for the availability, but let's talk about the game. Eternal Dex is, imagine to be in a world taken from Spirited Away, okay? Where there are spirits in the world, and there is humanity, and humanity's lifespans are growing shorter with every day that passes. Humanity gets a shorter and shorter lifespan, and there are people who are sent to the spirit world to investigate and find out how to counter this trend, which will bring humanity to inevitable demise. Now, the game is very abstract, but it does a fantastic job of conveying a theme, so I will talk about it right now. You are basically going to the spirit world in a series of scenarios, and you are trying to awaken the Eternals, which are mystical beings like the Pegasus, the Minotaur, the Medusa, and so on. And these mystical beings, when you awaken them, they will give you their own life force, making you able to carry on and go on. But when you awaken them, they will be angry, and you'll get a curse because you awaken them. So you have to placate the spirits somehow by offering a jewel and do stuff like this. wow, how it is the game, how does the game play? You basically have cards. Every player, this is a cooperative game with cards. So you have each player who plays has a deck of 5 cards numbered 1 to 5 in one suit. Each player has a full suit of 1 and draws 3 cards every time. At the end of their turn, after they play cards and do something, they have to refill their hand to 3 cards, and whenever they cannot refill their hand, they lost the game because they die. So, as you can see, you have a few moves at the beginning before basically folding up because your lifespan is so short. What you do is to play these cards on paths that you open in various locations in the Spirit Worlds. Depending on the path, there are rules to place cards. So, for instance, there's the mountain. In the mountain you climb, so you need to start with a small card, with a small value card, like with a 1, and get up, playing cards of increasing value, one next the other, until you get to the top of the mountain and you get to the Eternals. The first Eternal is 4 steps away, meaning that 4 cards need to be played to that location before awakening the Eternal. When you awaken the Eternal, you place the curse in play, which is basically something like a new limitation, and then you get a deck of 8 cards, meaning that your lifespan increased incredibly and you can keep playing. You are usually playing with a companion or 2. It's I played up to 4 players, but I think it's a 2 to 5 players. No, it's 2 to 4 player count. And this game is exceptionally good at all player counts, including solo. But of course, being it being cooperative, I definitely recommend to play it in 3 or 4 players. When you play with your companion, you will have to basically cooperate every time, because you can fail before reaching even the first Eternal if you play bad. There are 3 locations on the board, and these 3 locations each have different rules to play card to them. For instance, the mountain, you have to go up, and there is the cave, which is still from the first scenario, where you have to go down. So you start with high card and you go down. And there's the camp, which is basically a free-for-all location where you can play everything. Now, there is another limitation, which is you cannot play 2 cards of the same suit continuously, one next the other. Meaning that if you are playing, you cannot just play all your cards. You need to play with a companion. So your partner must play some cards in the middle, because you have cards, initially you have cards only of one suit. And then there's the river. The river represents the flowing of things, the life, and you can always discard a card and play it to the river. When you fill the path of the river, you get a special rare card which can be played as any value and any suit. It takes basically any value ever. The game plays like this, and I mean, I described it to you with a full theme, but the game is virtually abstract, meaning that it really doesn't matter what would be the theme, because whatever you play, number of cards in an order, in a color, in a suit. But what is cool of this game is that it is dripping with personality, is really oozing character in everything you do in a perfectly hermetic way, meaning that the game never tells you stuff. But for instance, the blue suit is inspiration. You play cards in the inspiration suit, and that is your life force that you infuse in whatever move you do. The red card is passion, so whenever you do anything in the red suit, you are doing something passionate and everything. Each player represents one of these emotions, but when they get to the Eternals, depending on the Eternal, for instance, the Phoenix, the Eternal of Fire, has a lot of red cards of passion and life and everything and spirit. And when you revive the Phoenix, you get all of these big cards with big values on the red suit and whatever. There is the Minotaur, which has to do with finding your own way. Every Eternal and everything you do in this game is full of character. If you just stop to think on the illustration on the cards, on whatever you're doing, you can understand what the author was trying to tell you with those cards. So the first scenario is kind of a training. It's still a bit of a hard scenario in which you just have to revive Eternals and do stuff and just get the engine running. And for doing that, you receive stars. When you receive stars, you get one step closer to finding the exit to the first entrance to the spirit world. And when you get to 4 stars, the scenario is won. After that, the game gets crazy. After that, the stars are only extra powers for you, which have a different effect on each different scenario. And then the next scenarios, you have to get 3 keys to exit. In the second scenario, you get in a ghost town where there are all ghost spirits which work with life force and everything, and you have to revive them to exit the ghost town. The third scenario is a labyrinth, which is super cool because you have to run errands to find, to solve the puzzles, to playing cards in order with basically quests, mini quests that you receive in order to unlock keys to unlock the exit to the maze. The fourth scenario is a boss battle with a guardian, which is basically evil, but you play card to over his skull death cards, and whenever you play cards, you deplete its life points reserve, and by doing this, you revive and you infuse it with human emotions. And the fifth scenario is a silent scenario when players cannot communicate in any way, and the game is cool. Is very full of every kind of touches. I love the attention to detail this game has, and the full modularity. Since the Eternals each give you a different power and a different curse when you get their deck, you basically are combining Eternals and locations to have a different experience every scenario. Scenarios have 4 levels of difficulty each other, and whenever you get to the end, there are 6 scenarios in the base campaign. You can optionally do the hard mode of the game and do the same scenarios in reverse with double effects, so that every scenario has a mechanic from another scenario added to it, and then you must go back to the spirit world after you fulfill your mission on the spirit world. So basically, I don't know if it's clear, but I love Eternal decks. It's a very, very it's actually a very simple game with a very, very big depth, and you can play it at any difficulty level. It's always a challenge, and it's absolutely not an easy game. Even at normal difficulty, you will get thrashed. If not in the tutorial, you will get thrashed in the first scenario, real scenario, because it's challenging, and the gameplay is so good, and you can see you getting so good. It has a lot of cool things. For instance, you have hearts, which are your way of gifting cards to a companion, to a partner, in a way that when a player is going to finish their cards and so is unable to play and is going to die, and everyone loses when one player dies, you can spend an art and give them one card, which is something they need maybe to complete Path to an Eternal, and that way to get their decks refreshed and everything. You have communication tokens, which are small tokens that you can spend, you can place to try to communicate to your partners what you're going to do. That means that in this game you shouldn't speak about what you're going to do, about the cards you're using, otherwise it will be too simple. But you can, for instance, tell place place a communication token on the river, meaning that you are going to play to the river so that you want a rare card for some reason, for instance, or you are placing a communication token. You can place communication tokens everywhere, and they have no coded meaning that actually the art of communicating to your partners what you are going to do is part of the game, because you can do that basically any way you can think of, except on the fifth scenario when you get increasingly heavy limitation. The game plays like a charm. When you start playing, you usually want to go at least to the end of the scenario you are playing. So, and you always want for more. You always want more. Really, when my friends from college from earlier, the ones we played Bombasters with the entire weekend, went visiting, we started playing Eternal Decks, and we used all the time we weren't playing Bombasters to play Eternal Decks. The game is so cool. The artwork is beautiful. It's made by I don't know if this is a thing that should be advertised, but it's made by a studio which is of the brother from Hiroken, who did this basically to help with the project. They didn't want publicity for that because they just wanted the project to succeed, and the artwork is beautiful. It's both for Eternals have black and white side when they are not revived, and full color side when they are revived. They kind of remember the Dia de los Muertos artwork you see in skulls from Mexican culture, but it's beautiful and colorful and excellent. And also you can play the game if you get the original version, you play with a cloth, on a tablecloth with everything, and you can and you have this modular cardboard sheets that you use to modify the table by editing rules for every scenario. Then you combine the different location. The game is so modular and can be played anyway. Actually, the designer himself wanted to promote the contest for players to make customized scenarios, because basically it's self-expandable, meaning that you can create your own scenarios and play them with your own set of rules. You can just change the slide. There are some challenges at the end of the game when you complete the game, like complete by using just one communication token, or forbid one kind of communication, or try to get these stars before you get this key, and something like that. And oh yeah, really, this game has it all. For basically ranging price from $45 to $60, I think you can get this game, and it's really fun, immersive and cooperative fun for everyone. So really, from the depth of my heart, it's a full recommendation. And Cara, I don't know if I talked too much, but I'm really enthusiastic about this game. I love it.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. I think I always thought, oh yeah, I want to ask this, and then you already said it. So one thing, I mean, I have a hard time imagine how it's supposed to be played solo.
Oh, in the solo game, in the official variant of the solo game, because there are some alternatives that are played to the BGG boards, you play with golems, which are basically players that you use. In this case, the hearts that you would use to give cards around to other players, you use to activate golem powers. And the golems, you have two golems, and they take two different suits from yours, and you can play cards in order, having limited information depending on what you're playing. So basically, even in solo, the game is completely cool puzzle. And actually I had a run playing full solo, and I enjoyed it a lot. So you didn't ask this question, but I'll answer it anyway. It is worth it even to play solo, although it's a good game solo, but it's great in good company. By good company, this is a hard game. It's a kind of hard. It's a game leaning toward to give you a mindset. It is not. It is simpler than Pandemic, but if you take, for instance, I don't remember which was the Pandemic expansion with Quarantine Specialist, except of course the Legacy one. Anyway, when you have the Quarantine Specialists among Pandemic fans, they used to say that the game goes easy mode. So the game is harder than that kind of Pandemic, but it's not as hard scenarios of Pandemic. So it is a bit of the middle ground. It is required the same kind of tight communication that you have to do to escape their situation in Pandemic, though. So just for the level of cooperation, because the games play very differently, I can compare it to a middle to hard Pandemic version of the game. It has a lot of flavors. There is Fate of the Fellowship last that has that is the last implementation of the Pandemic system, and I don't know because I didn't play Fate of the Fellowship thoroughly yet, but it's kind of a hard Pandemic for what difficulty is concerned. So it's not really for everyone, but it gives you the same kind of satisfaction that Pandemic gives you whenever you manage to contain something that was menacing, that was trying to destroy you just the turn earlier. So it's very beautiful and satisfying. It's I don't know if my personal tastes are usually seen through this podcast, but it's exactly up my alley. This game is my cup of tea.
Yeah,
So
it sounds like pretty cool. Yeah. And I mean, actually, even cloth. I love it when games have a cloth board.
Yeah.
It's
No, cloth is absolutely cool as a kind of board. Of course, I have to say that I usually hate cloth because really? Cloth, yeah, it goes all over the place. I think that in recent, the game I hated with cloth board was Dreadfleet, the one about naval skirmishes taking a bit, but not at all, rules from Man of War. In the Warhammer world, set in the Warhammer world. It was a beautiful naval battle games, but it had a tablecloth for the sea, and whenever you moved a bit too much over the cloth went everything, dragging the scenarios and the battle maps and everything with you, and that's a thing I hate. But in this game, it's actually you're playing cards and not miniatures, so it is kind of irrelevant whatever you do. And the cheats, the heavy cardboard cheats that you put there, put everything in place. And anyway, I played Steam Power before this, and Steam Power is a cloth map and it's beautiful. So this year, 2025, I had 2 games with a cloth table, which were beautiful and easy to play and fun to play. So cloth maps were rehabilitated. Now, if Cartisans had a cloth table as good as this one, I had probably published. I have probably quoted that too. But the cloth table from Courtesans is all the bad I was saying about all the cloth boards. So this is what I think about my cloth digression. And Eternal Dex is a beautiful game. You should try it. It's getting a reprint. You can get it on Tabletop Simulator and try it, but you really should give it a go in person, because playing this with people is a beautiful experience. So definitely recommendation. If this can move people any further, I I don't think this is true actually, but a lot of people compared it as the kingdom death of card games, meaning that it's hard as kingdom death. And this is weird because I don't think Kingdom Death Monster is hard at all. It's just and the plays I think completely differently, but I can understand the feeling of just brutally dying at the end of a scenario where you think you are playing good. So I can understand where this comes from. I just don't agree, but if it's anything to convince
Just to be clear, I'm not saying King of Death Monster is a hard game or difficult game, but I'm saying you can play as good as you want, and the game can still fuck you over. And if anyone says that's not the case, I started a campaign with Audrey. You know, we took
I saw your campaign.
And we killed our settlement with sex, basically. Because we rolled so many double ones. And there's nothing you can do about this. And that killed our campaign. So, yeah. It's, nah.
Okay. No, actually, I saw your campaign. I saw fans' campaign on YouTube. And yeah, it's easy to get condemned, especially if you're playing with people. Because I play a lot of games solo. And really, you cannot underestimate even what... even if you are playing with the best player you know, in Kingdom Death, they will end up doing or placing in a way that you didn't expect that one time where they should have placed somewhere else, and you get that reaction that destroys everything, even if your opponent is super experienced. So yeah, the game will fuck you over, just not with just randomness, but even with how the odds are stacked against you. The one thing that I love about Kingdom Death, it's what I love about all the Monster Hunter-like games, that you can prepare for it and be ready and have everything, fallback strategies, and be prepared to counter that exact thing the monster does. But yes, it's a game where definitely masters know that they can lose anytime. So it's not the times you win, it's how you lose that makes the difference. So whatever. But about Eternal Decks, that's definitely a recommendation. Have a look, have a play. I think by November it will be basically restocked in every store, and given the queue that is in the Board Game Geek forums to find a copy, and given the number of messages, private messages I received just by being there to sell my copy, I think that it could go out of stock as soon as it's out. So have a look, try it, don't think too much about it, and absolutely recommendation. And this is it, my part. So now I think it's Cara's turn to talk about a very kind of different game, which is...
Yes, Here to Slay.
To slay. Here to slay.
Yes, Here to Slay. A little bit of history. In 2017, Unstable Games released their first game, which was Unstable Unicorns, which I, of course, got with...
we remember that.
With the expansions and everything. I have 3 versions of Unstable Unicorns here with a lot of expansions. And because, hey, unicorns, and so fun, the cards and the jokes and whatnot, and the game kind of sucked. So that was bad. It's basically it suffered the Munchkin disease.
Get ready for this one then.
So in Unstable Unicorns, your goal was to collect 6 unicorns, and so if you played, of course, as soon as someone had 5 unicorns, everyone went against them. And Then there were also these nay cards. So whenever you played a card, any other player could play a nay card, and you couldn't play the card. And unless you had a nay card yourself and played the nay card to nay the nay card, and so it could drag on, and I had this situation where I played with 6 people, and after like 2 hours, everyone was like, "Can't we just stop?
Please kill us."
But yeah, so then Llamas Unleashed, next game from them, which is basically a reskin for Unstable Unicorns. Surprisingly, more fun than Unstable Unicorns, at least for me. But same game, just, you don't collect unicorns, you collect llamas, rams, alpacas, and something else. But yeah, it's still the same game. You collect 6, and people can stop you, and it can drag on. I really wanted to love their games. So then the next game came, which was like Rules and Regulations, where you had, guess what, collect 5 in this instance, 5 mystical animals in your lawn or something. So it was again the same mechanic, and then they started to widen their horizon, and they got Here to Slay on Kickstarter, and I backed it, and I backed out again because of 2 reasons. First of all, their Kickstarters are notorious for their FOMO, and Here to Slay is a small card game, and I think if you went all in on their Kickstarter, you could spend over 250 euros for a 30 euro card game. And it's fucking crazy with them. They have a lot of Kickstarter exclusive stuff, and so if you buy one of their games in retail, you get very little compared to someone who just backed the core game in their Kickstarter. So that was something I really despised. And what is the winning condition for Here to Slay? Collect 6 heroes.
6 classes, yes. No, there's an alternate one then.
Yes. But I get to that later. So
yeah.
I backed out of it because I figured, it's the same again. And yeah, they continued releasing games. And at some point I heard, hey, their newer games are actually kind of good. And then they had a Kickstarter where they made the decision to actually make Kickstarter exclusive stuff from their former campaigns available in the Pledge Manager. So I decided, hey, that's a nice move from them to finally, alleviate the FOMO a little bit. And so I backed that one. I didn't get whatever that was about, but I got Here to Slay and Casting Shadows through the Pledge Manager in their Kickstarter versions. And now I finally got to try Here to Slay out. And I really like it. And I feel like that's what basically it fixes for me the issues that Munchkin and Unstable Unicorns and whatnot have. So in Here to Slay, you collect heroes. Heroes are different animals. The wizards, I think. No, wait. The guardians are unicorns, and you have bards, which are, I think, chipmunks. Foxes are rangers, and bears are fighters. And your goal is to have a party with 6 different classes. You can have more heroes, but as soon as you get 6 different classes in your party, you've won immediately. And differences to Unstable Unicorns. First of all, there is a secondary victory condition, because what do hero parties do? They fight monsters. So in addition to these heroes you collect and spells you cast and whatnot, there are monsters. At any time, there are 3 monsters open, and you can decide to fight a monster. And if you win against a monster, you get it. Each monster gives you a specific ability, which you then can use. And as soon as you defeat 3 monsters, you've won the game. Which is important insofar as people can't do anything about the monsters you've defeated. People can steal your heroes, they can destroy your heroes, say that, hey, this hero doesn't have a class anymore. They can't do anything about the monsters. So it's not like, hey, I defeated 2 monsters, I only need one more, and now another player does something and, oh, I'm back to square one. That can't happen. So that's pretty good. The second change, dice rolls. A lot of the effects in the game are dependent on dice rolls. For example, each hero has an ability. To activate the ability, you roll 2d6, and the ability says you, for example, here I have Bun the Wizard. If you roll 5 plus, you may search the discard pile for a magic card and add it to your hand. If you roll less than 5, nothing happens. Very powerful abilities, like, hey, you can destroy an enemy hero, need higher dice rolls. So they are more likely to fail than like this one with a 5 plus, hey, you can get a magic card from this card pile. And so that's already something that gives some balancing. Or here, the kidnapper, the thief, you need a 9 plus, and then you may steal a hero card. So take a hero of another player and put it in your party. But you need a 9 plus to do this. The Nay cards from Unstable Unicorns, where you could just, no, you can't play this card. Here they are challenge cards. So when another player plays a card, you can play a challenge card in response. Now, a challenge card doesn't directly negate that card play, but both of you roll dice. And if the challenger rolls at least as high as the one who's challenged, then it works. Then the card that was supposed to be played gets discarded. If you challenge and you roll less than the person you challenge, it doesn't work and they still get to play the card. So there is no automatic, hey, I can prevent you from doing this thing, which is very good. There is some tension to it because every time you play a challenge card, it's like, oh, I hope it works. I hope it works. If you have this cool ability from a hero, and it's also like, oh, I hope it works now, and it doesn't work. So what do I do instead? And so there's a lot of tension through these dice rolls. It plays very quick. I mean, I played it with my partner, 2-player games. We didn't take half an hour for a game. Yeah. I'd guess 15 minutes, 20 minutes for a game. And yeah, it has the same like humor in it as all their other games with the artwork and the names of the.
I have to say that I am a fan of their humor. I mean, it's not exactly smart. It's not exactly grabby, but it works. It works a lot. It makes me laugh. Like the one with more RAM about the sheep ones.
Yeah,
it's cool.
But I mean, it's so heartwarming when you play Fluffy the Wizard, and it's like a little bunny that hurls magic bolts. It's nice and it's cute and it's fun. There are modifier cards like the same way as in Munchkin. In Munchkin, you didn't need dice rolls to fight monsters, but here, every time someone rolls dice, anyone can play modifier cards to the dice roll. They aren't super powerful. There aren't a lot of those in the deck. I mean, for example, here's one that gives either +2 or -2 on the roll. There is one that gives +4 on a dice roll, and that's the highest it goes. So we did have situations where, okay, you rolled, I have a modifier card, but yeah, playing this modifier card wouldn't change the result because you had enough buffer. And you can also use it yourself, like, hey, I really want to activate this ability. I roll, I have two, I'm two under, but I can play a modifier card, and now I'm over. And so, yeah, I think this game does a lot right, and I love it. It's great. I'm actually thinking about looking into how I can get the expansions now.
I played a few games a few games of Virtus Lay. I cannot remember the expansions, but there was Necromancer, so I know that it is an expansion, so probably I played with that expansion, but I don't know the exact sets because it was a friend's house.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into those, but as far as I can tell, in the core game, I mean, there are 9 different hero classes, and in the core game there are only 6 represented, except for 2 promo cards that are in the Kickstarter exclusive edition, which are each of one of the other 3 classes. There is the, let me just say, Warriors and Druids expansion, and guess what? There is a Druid and Warrior class, which isn't represented in the core game, so I assume in the Warriors and Druids expansion you get Warriors and Druids. There's also what you said, the Necromancer and Berserkers or something.
Oh yeah, the Berserker, yeah. That must be the one, because there was both the Necromancer and the Berserker, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess basically they add new heroes. Each hero has their own ability, though the different hero classes all have a shared theme. Like the thief heroes do a lot about, getting cards from other people, stealing stuff. The Guardian heroes have abilities like, hey, this turn your heroes can't be affected by something, or there's always a theme. Yeah, there's always a theme to the hero class, but each hero has their own ability, which is also pretty nice. So at a glance, you already can get an impression of what the other players are able to do. And still there are differences, so that's nice. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the way the turns work is also pretty nice. Instead of like, hey, in your turn you draw a card and play a card, you get 3 action points, and you can spend 1 action point to either draw a card or play a hero item or magic card from your hand, or activate heroes, or try to activate one of your heroes' ability. If you play a hero, it comes with a free activation try. So you could, for example, say, I don't have anything useful in my hand. I draw a card, still not. I draw another card, still not. So I draw another card, and I drew 3 cards this turn, and that's it. Those were my 3 action points. Or if you have nice cards, you can play 3 cards, or do any combination. I had turns where I was like, okay, so first I try to activate this hero's ability. If that doesn't work, then I will draw a card. If it does work, I will play this card. But it didn't work, so now I draw the card and I'll see what I get, if I can play this or whatever. You can spend 2 action points to attack a monster, which also works like you roll a die. You roll 2 dice, and you have to reach a certain threshold to defeat the monster. If you are under a certain threshold, instead you have to discard cards or whatever. Something bad happens to you, except for one monster where it's the other way around. You have to roll low to defeat it. You can spend all 3 action points to discard every card in your hand, if you have any cards in your hand, and draw 5 new cards. So basically like reset your hand if you only have garbage. So that's pretty nice. It gives more flexibility in what you do. It's not like such a boring fixed way each turn plays. Like, okay, draw a card, play a card. Now you draw a card, play a card. Now the next person, draw a card, play a card. You can think about what do you want to do with the dice rolls. There you can, okay, I try this, and if it doesn't work, I can switch gears, and so that's pretty. I like it.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about a game in the Munchkin genre, it's usually a minefield because some people get terribly frustrated about Munchkin. I think that I mostly 100% agree with your initial evaluation, which was there was Unstable Unicorn, which was kind of Munchkin-esque, and it sucked so bad, and they got better.
Yeah.
This game for me fixes a lot that was a problem in Unstable Unicorns. The dice are not always so smooth, or at least whenever you are playing with someone who complains about dice rolls, you come to see that they are not that balanced. And but my biggest gripe about this is just the fact that you need to collect 6 different classes, but depending on your draw, you could even not see 6 different classes through the entire game. So that is mostly my complaint with the game. But actually, like I said, if you take this game light, since it's a fast filler, it plays fast. It doesn't have the determination problem that has Munchkin or Unstable Unicorns. This game eventually ends because you can always progress. And you just play to have a laugh because the games enables you to have a good laugh with friends. That is a great filler game to play in a game night where you maybe play 1 big game and then 3 or 4 games of this. And that's cool. The only real complaint that I have about this game, so it's price, because a filler for €30, $30 is a bit something that you must think about. For instance, I played with a friend. I had fun with it, but I decided not to buy in the end because basically for €30 I could get a full car game. So like a strategic game or a tactical car game, and that.
I mean, I just checked like in the German version of the like retail version is for €20 available.
Yeah, and that is a good price because at that price point I would take it.
Yeah. Then of course there is the issue with that's the retail version, not the Kickstarter exclusive edition.
No, but with Kickstarter the basic games is fine. It just you have just a little number of classes, so probably you won't finish. You will have to slay monsters, but the game is fun. So yes, just be wary that. It's still in the Munchkin genre, so
yes. So and definitely don't take it as a
serious tactical experience.
Yeah, it's a fun game, as you said. Win. It's a filler game. You can enjoy it. You can have these gotcha moments, and when my partner in one turn played 3 heroes, he needed to win, and I was like, okay, that went quicker than I expected. There's a lot of take that. You can do basically everything to modify other players' die rolls. So, whatever.
This is a kind of fun filler game, and talking about fun filler games, there is our I think just concluded challenge on Board Game Arena of King of Tokyo. If you didn't check your browser, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as when I ended my turn, I knew I lost. It was
a lot of slaps. Yeah. Anyway, we have been talking about King of Tokyo Duel, which is basically King of Tokyo for 2 players. Simple as that. So I played a bit with Cara to prepare for this episode, and this is a game I played a lot in the summer, and basically kids love it. But now there is one thing that I have to say, that if you played King of Tokyo, this game is possibly a bit better, but possibly we all know how to play King of Tokyo, so everyone is a monster, a giga monster, a kaiju monster, like Godzilla. You have the Mecha Dragon, you have Gamera, basically. You have every kind of King Kong, there's everything. King Kong is the king, and you are playing on a city by getting devastation. You try to basically flatten your opponent before they do that, and there are special cards with power, and the main mechanic is basically Yahtzee, when you play a number of dice and you can reroll them a number of times, and depending on what ends up on their faces, you can get energy. With energy you can buy permanent or one-time use power cards. You can get pose, with which you slap your opponent. You can get exclamation marks, which activate your unique character skill, and you can get fame or destroy buildings. Now, King of Tokyo is basically the same game, but for exactly 2 people challenging each other. And I don't know if I'm talking for both, but it's a lot of fun, because it's a very light game. And King of Tokyo, actually, I didn't think that you could play King of Tokyo close and personal, because part of the fun of the game is mayhem. But I think that it's a great conversion. It increases value. Mostly, the one thing that I liked about that is that the extraction track actually gives you a side objective to win. So makes the game, which is still a light filler game, makes it a bit more deep, because you have you can just bring your token up to a fame or destruction track up to the end, and then you win. You can bring your opponent to 0 life, but in this case, if both of the tokens are in the spotlight area, you can win the game, and this gives a lot of depth to the game. So there are a lot of alternatives way that you can find to win, and a lot of alternatives power that you can combine together in each scenario. The game plays fast and fun, there are a lot of slaps around, and whenever you basically end up losing, because basically Cara had my ass handed to me for the first 3 games or so. So when you end up losing, you are just happy and want to play another game. So this is a very simple game, and if you know King of Tokyo, you basically know the quantity. The game is from Richard Garfield, famous for Magic the Gathering and Android Netrunner, or Netrunner if you play the first version. And this is full Richard Garfield goodness, meaning that it's not necessarily a balanced game, because Richard Garfield doesn't care for that, but it's fun, and you are happy to play. I will talk, as soon as I get it, I will talk to you about Magical Athlete, which was remade by Richard Garfield right now, and it's kind of the same alley. But what you need to know is that if you like King of Tokyo, this is still a good game to have, because the 2-player formula works. And if you didn't play King of Tokyo, this is definitely the best version I can recommend for you. It's fun, it's fast. Even if you are more than 2 players, you can just play in turn. It is fast enough that you won't notice. Basically, there's no downtime. And this is my impression, but what do you think as a winner of a lot of games, except the last one, Cara?
So, I mean, I like King of Tokyo, the regular one. I did often feel like, yeah, it's too limited. Like, okay, yeah, basically, what are you doing? You're hitting people, and yeah. I really like in King of Tokyo Duel that you have different ways of winning, and that sometimes it's quite surprising, like, oh, suddenly this happens. And so that's really nice. I also like that there's not this, hey, this one person now stands in the middle and everyone is hitting them mechanic, which I did not like in King of Tokyo. Like really this pulling game, like who gets more fame now, and it's not an arbitrary, hey, the first one to reach X fame or X destroyed buildings wins. No, it's you are pulling the fame and destroyed buildings on tracks between you and try to pull them over to your side, which is way more engaging than just reaching a set limit. And yeah,
the duel works. I noticed this trend. I think it started with Seven Wonders Duel or whatever. But when you take a great game and make it a dual version, when the dual version has actually any purpose to exist, it's always better. I don't know how they do that, but the two-player version is always cool. It's a great synthesis of what is cool about the game and trims what's boring, basically, of playing with a lot of peoples. I like this a lot, and I like how scalable this game is. Not meaning, of course, it's just for two players, exclusively at two, so this is not the scaling I meant. But I played with you, but I could play with my kids, and of course I give them a bit of facilitations, but the game is basically the same. They can win and they can feel like winning. Sometimes when dice rolls are good enough, you can also try to win against kids and you still lose. So, but the game is so fun that it really doesn't matter. You just had a good laugh, and some powers that are redesigned for two people are actually make everything very interesting. In our last game we had the unstable DNA, which in this version is basically something that jumps from one player to another whenever they get slapped too much, and allows you to steal one power from the opponent, exchanging it with unstable DNA. So meaning that next time someone gets slapped, you get back, and so on. It does back and forth, and it's just another thing to take note of, and plays very, very, very fun. Sometimes even adding this one card to an established game, it makes it different, and this is cool because basically I think we are 5 or 6 games in, and we could play more. I am like 30 games in with my kids and they want to play more, so I really, for a 20-25 euros game, like I said, what can you ask for more? Anyway, this is cool, this is fun, this is nicely illustrated, and basically brings you a smile. So
yeah, you're definitely getting your money's worth there.
Yeah, I really think that we are it with the definition. Of course, this is not a greatly balanced game. You cannot expect to say just you. Okay, there is one thing to say. If you play good, it's not ensured that you will win. But if you play bad, you will lose. This is sure. I think as was brutalized by Cara with the first game. I just misplaced the bus token and I was destroyed for that. So it works. The system works. Another thing was the Mecha Dragon. I don't know for how much I was hit in the last round, but I think it was 8 or 10 damage. So
it was a surprising good roll.
Too brutal. Again, too brutal. So whatever, I recommend King of Tokyo because it makes you talk about it like this. And
Yes.
in the end, remember the time when you played like that? Yes, this is one thing people enjoy about board games. This has plenty of it. Two players, so meaning that you will always have a challenger. It's kind in a way, it's kind of akin to Mindbug, the other two-player game co-designed by Richard Garfield, which is a lot of fun, but it's kind of more tactical and always on the balanced side of things, but it's very cool and tactical. And in fact, there is this Essen, you will see Mindbug King of Tokyo crossover and King of Tokyo Mindbug crossover, because of course they fit together so much. I think, Cara, you were going to say something?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I raised my finger to give a sign to my dog.
I saw your finger
my,
raised.
my dog is very attention-seeking right now.
No, okay. That's okay. And also, I guess that we're done with the episode.
My dog likes to hear that.
Yeah, that's great. I will go out to see my family. I just came back from work, so they need attention too. And this is it. This is all we have for today, and for this time too, we have been the Last Standee. And so this is a goodbye from Cara.
Bye.
And from me, Alessio. And remember, well, you can catch us up on www.patreon.com/The Last Standee, on our Discord channel, and basically everywhere. You can find, I prefer Spotify these days, but whatever. You can get for free on YouTube, on Spotify, on Audible, on Apple Podcasts, and basically everywhere that takes RSS feeds for podcasts. We are registered there, so follow us. And remember, the second E stands for Eternal Decks. Take it because it's very, very good.